Değerli arkadaşlar,
Dear friends, at today's cabinet meeting, which we held after a 3-week break, our agenda once again included critical issues regarding domestic and foreign policy. Before moving on to these, I would like to present to you a brief summary of the important programs we carried out over the past 3 weeks. On September 15th, we attended the extraordinary summit of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Arab League held in Doha, the capital of Qatar. There, we emphasized the importance of taking a common stance, not only on the issue of Palestine, but also in the face of Israel, which has recently attacked Lebanon, Yemen, Iran, Syria, and finally Qatar. Our visit was also meaningful in terms of showing our solidarity with our friend, brother, and ally Qatar. On September 17th, we laid the foundation of the new headquarters of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. With this project, planned to be completed in 2 years, we will endow our diplomatic corps with a modern, functional, and environmentally friendly campus, with a total indoor area of 334,500 square meters. On September 18th, we held a draw for the placement of relatives of martyrs, veterans, and their families into public institutions. With this draw, we appointed 630 of our brothers and sisters to public service. Thus, the number of martyr relatives and veterans employed in public institutions has risen to 51,947. I once again wish these new appointments to be auspicious and successful, and I pray for the success of those who begin their duties. On September 19th, at the Turkey Cooperatives Gathering, we introduced the Turkey Cooperative Strategy and Action Plan for 2025 to 2029. At this event, we shared new good news for our cooperatives. Last year, we doubled the support items available to our cooperatives. This year, we have increased the support amount by 2.5 times. Likewise, we raised machinery, equipment, and fixture purchase support from 400,000 liras to 1 million liras, and Pharaoh exhibition participation support from 60,000 to 150,000 liras. We also increased support for qualified personnel employment per person from 204,000 liras to 266,000, and for 2 persons from 408,000 to 532,800 liras. I wish these also to be fruitful. Dear friends, the biggest stage of our National Technology Initiative, Technofest, was held for the 13th time from September 17th to 21st at Istanbul Ataturk Airport. On September 19th, Friday, I visited Technofest 2025 and joined the enthusiasm of our youth. I congratulate, one by one, all my young friends who accompany Turkey's march into the future with their works, ideas, and projects. I would like to once again wholeheartedly state this. The Technofest generation will transform the legacy of resistance into maturity just like an inheritance. Like the Alparslans, Fatihs, Yavuzes, and Kanunis, they will, God willing, make history and change history. We are doing and will continue to do whatever is necessary to help our youth achieve their dreams. For example, earlier this year, 100,000 students benefited from the IKI Youth Program we developed for university students. While we had announced the same 100,000 quota for this term, because of the great demand from our youth, we decided in today's cabinet meeting to raise the quota to 150,000. God willing, by the end of 2028, we aim for a total of 1 million students to benefit from the IKI Youth Program. I say may this be auspicious for our university youth. My esteemed nation, we strongly participated this year in the 80th United Nations General Assembly General Debate, making full use of the opportunity. We met with broad circles ranging from leading figures of the Turkish-American community to American business circles, think tanks, and international investors. In these meetings, we presented the investment and trade opportunities Turkey offers. Our Turkish house, just opposite the UN headquarters, once again stood out as a central hub of diplomacy. Another striking point is this. Despite Israel's attempts to obstruct it, the 80th General Assembly was truly marked by the Palestinian cause. On September 22nd, Monday, the two-state solution conference co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia drew very high interest. We attended, registering our country's stance very clearly. The next day, for the 13th time including my prime ministership term, I addressed the General Assembly. In our speech, we highlighted the genocide-level massacre in Gaza, which has surpassed mass-killing dimensions, exposing with figures and photos the atrocities our Gazan brothers and sisters have endured unceasingly for 23 months. We called on the international community to act against Israel's barbarity toward the Palestinian people. Beyond Gaza, we also delivered messages regarding regions of special significance to Turkey's foreign policy, from Africa to Asia, the Balkans to Latin America. We once again robustly defended the rightful cause of the Turkish Cypriots, reiterating our call to recognize the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, based on the reality that there are two separate peoples and states on the island. We also carried to the global agenda our Zero Waste project, which has grown into a worldwide movement, as well as the attacks against the family institution. Our address was essentially a comprehensive reflection of Turkey's 360-degree foreign policy perspective, inspired by the double-headed Seljuk eagle, which looks east and west simultaneously. The meeting on Gaza, attended by U.S. President Mr. Trump and regional leaders, was highly productive. We discussed what can be done to stop the bloodshed in Gaza. At the Climate Summit, we spoke about our practices and reforms geared toward our goal of net zero emissions by 2053. On the sidelines of the General Assembly, we held bilateral meetings with counterparts from countries including Syria, Libya, Kuwait, Indonesia, France, Canada, and Vietnam. We also met with the President of the European Commission and the UN Secretary-General. My beloved nation, in both bilateral and multilateral contacts, one truth became clear again. It is now widely acknowledged that Netanyahu, cornered by corruption investigations, has dragged not only the region but also the world into turmoil purely to cling to his seat. What we see is not statesmanship, but a clique thriving on blood and chaos. With a handful of exceptions, almost no one wants to stand beside Israel and Netanyahu's government. This UN General Assembly was almost a litmus test for that. At the session, 10 Western countries, including the UK and France, announced recognition of Palestine. Though long overdue, it is profoundly significant that 2 permanent Security Council members have now recognized the state of Palestine. We are greatly pleased that the number of countries recognizing Palestine has reached 158, especially as a nation leading this struggle. Recognition is a commendable first step, but the true test lies in giving meaning to it. That means working toward the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, with East Jerusalem as its capital, based on the 1967 borders. Otherwise, such recognition will remain incomplete. Israel's entire effort is to prevent this, with its plans to annex the West Bank and depopulate Gaza, aiming to block out forever the prospect of a free Palestine. The ultimate goal is to realize the Greater Israel Project. My precious nation, I must state frankly that Turkey is today one of the greatest obstacles to both of these projects. The essential reason our country and I have been targeted recently is our steadfast stance. We yield neither to the pressures of the global Zionist lobby nor to the defamation campaigns of their agents within. We stand firmly beside the Palestinian people who defend their land, freedom, and dignity. The whole world, friends and foes alike, knows Turkey today stands with the oppressed who struggle for freedom and justice. The only exception is the main opposition, which refuses to accept this truth. Those who, until yesterday, regarded the Middle East merely as a swamp, or who slander the heroic children of Gaza as terrorists, telling us what is Gaza to us, what is Syria, Libya, Somalia to us. Their criticisms of us are worthless. They were alien to our geography yesterday and remain ignorant of the world today. They were short-sighted, envious, and narrow-minded yesterday, and today continue to wallow in jealousy at our achievements. They cannot grasp our principled, honorable, courageous, multidimensional foreign policy, and they never will. We bear the trust of 86 million people. Our load and duty are heavy. We cannot waste our breath on trivialities, empty debates, or hollow politicians. Those who think small, look superficially at foreign policy, and beg Western patrons to protect their own corruption are of no consequence to us. We can sign them to oblivion. The prayers of the oppressed Palestinians and the innocent children of Gaza are enough for us. If we merit the prayers and gratitude of the Palestinian people and our own nation, that is our greatest happiness. Everything else is empty words. May God never let us falter in defending the Palestinian cause for which we have devoted our lives. My beloved nation, dear members of the press, after our intense contacts in New York, we accepted President Trump's invitation and visited Washington. On September 25th, we held a comprehensive, productive meeting at the White House with President Trump and his team, where we addressed many subjects in a friendly atmosphere, chiefly bilateral trade, investment, energy, and defense industry issues. We reviewed steps toward achieving the $100 billion trade volume goal we set during his first term. The Gaza atrocities, Israel's increasing aggression, the Russia-Ukraine war, and regional developments were also at the top of our agenda. We discussed in detail stability in Syria and ensuring a climate of peace in the Middle East. Let me underline this. The sole reason the opposition, politicians, journalists, pundits, are irrationally trying to disparage our U.S. visit is that it was extraordinarily successful beyond their expectations. Their hopes were dashed, leaving them frustrated, and so now they lash out. But their efforts are in vain. Truth cannot be hidden by lies. Our guiding principle is to defend Turkey's interests most strongly in every arena. For 23 years, we have consistently done what was required by our nation's short dash, medium dash, and long-term interests. And we will continue to do so tomorrow. Had we listened to the opposition, none of Turkey's major infrastructure investments would exist today. Marmara, Istanbul Airport, Toki, high-speed trains, the 785 billion cubic meter natural gas discovery in the Black Sea, or the petroleum reserves in Gaza. From foreign policy to transportation, energy to defense industry, tourism to healthcare, we achieved all our breakthroughs despite the opposition. It is ontologically impossible for them to utter a word for the good of this nation, so we expect nothing from them. Now, dear friends, as our economy grows, Turkey's annual energy demand also increases. We pursue diversification without pause. uncovering our own underground resources through exploration and drilling while also securing a broader portfolio of suppliers. Our sole aim is to meet Turkey's growing energy demand uninterruptedly, reliably, and securely. The initial difficulties Europe faced during the early phase of the Russia-Ukraine war showed how wise this policy was. Thanks to our agreements, industry kept functioning and our citizens passed winters comfortably. We regard the U.S. as an important partner, alongside other suppliers. The memorandum signed on natural gas and nuclear energy has been a highly strategic step in this direction. Turkey's progress in air transportation has also been remarkable. Let me share figures that will catch the attention of our citizens watching. In 2002, Turkish Airlines served 10.4 million passengers with a fleet of only 65 aircraft and a flight network of 103 destinations. By the end of 2024, annual passenger numbers reached 85 million. Fleet size grew to over 470 aircraft and the network expanded to 350 destinations. Passenger numbers thus increased more than eightfold, fleet nearly sevenfold, and destinations more than threefold. The company's 2025 target is to surpass 90 million passengers. The 500th aircraft will join the fleet in the coming months. The 100th, 200th, 300th, and 400th aircraft were added in 2006, 2012, 2016, and 2023 respectively. Looking forward, the 2033 centenary target is 813 aircraft. The orders placed in 2023 with Airbus, 335 aircraft, and in September 2025 with Boeing, 225 aircraft, serve this purpose. Purchasing aircraft is not like buying milk from a grocer, as the opposition imagines. It requires determining needs, careful planning, negotiations, and long discussions before reaching agreements. This applies equally to private airlines. In short, Turkey's aviation vision is long-term and strategic, not shaped by the nonsense spouted by the opposition. Those drowned in corruption cannot be expected to grasp such plans. I believe the positive results of our talks with President Trump will be seen in the coming period. Dear members of the press, in our previous cabinet meeting, I had expressed our determination to combat the scourge of illegal online betting, gambling, and lotteries. With the increasing role of the internet and smartphones in our lives, illegal betting and gambling have spread widely. Our security forces, judiciary, and Financial Crimes Investigation Board had already been closely monitoring this issue. We are determined to root out this menace, which ruins countless lives, before it becomes more complicated. Today we reviewed the comprehensive action plan prepared under Vice President Cevdet Yılmaz. Although the uncontrolled nature of the digital realm makes our task harder, we will mobilize all our capacity against illegal online gambling and betting. As a matter above politics, we expect strong support from all segments of society. Another major agenda item was our social housing project. Through our Environment Ministry, we are initiating the construction of 500,000 social housing units across all 81 provinces. Special quotas will be allocated in this project for martyr families, veterans, retirees, young people, and families with 3 children. For the first time, we will also implement a rental housing scheme through Turkey. By renting out some of our social housing under favorable terms, we hope to ease the burden on low-income families. Our 500,000 unit project will facilitate access to housing at more affordable costs. We will share full details in the upcoming introduction program of the project. I wish it to be auspicious. For 2025, we had allocated 37,000 new personnel for our health ministry, and have already recruited 19,000. Now we are announcing recruitment for an additional 18,000 staff. Similarly, to strengthen justice services, we had begun recruitment for 20,000 personnel across various categories. Now we are also launching recruitment for 1,000 assistant judges and prosecutors. With these thoughts, I pray for our cabinet meeting and the decisions taken to be beneficial for all of Turkey. Once again, I greet you with respect and affection. May God protect you. Stay well.